This video is a follow-up to a video I posted just last week. So if you haven't seen that video on the Ivan Provorov NHL controversy, check that out before you watch this one. I'm referencing the same journalist in the previous video who had some pretty sharp words for the NHL, the player involved in the controversy, and some pretty sharp words for you, the Christian. Listen now to what Sid Seixeiro had to say about you, the Christian.
Nothing scares me more than any human being who says, I'm not doing this because of my religious beliefs. Because when you looked in people's lives who normally say that publicly, you'd throw up at what you saw. You would throw up at what you saw. And I have seen that a million times in a lot of different ways. So don't give me that. With respect. Don't give me that because no one's perfect. All right? Don't feed me the religious beliefs line.
So there is a lot to unpack there, and we probably won't unpack it all. But there's some underlying assumptions being made here. He seems to take issue with the fact that, number one, Christians are judgmental, and two, Christians are hypocritical. I would say this is not an issue that is specific to Sid. Many people don't like Christians because of their judgment or perceived judgment of others. And certainly Christians do not live up to the standards set forth in the Bible. So yes, we are hypocritical, which again, people do take issue with. I've actually done two separate videos on judgment and hypocritical Christians that I'm going to link to at the end of this video. I want to take note of the standard being set forth in this clip for you and I, the Christian.
Don't feed me the religious beliefs line.
Sid says, don't give me the religious beliefs line. Why? Because you do not adequately live up to any moral standard. He makes a blanket statement about all believers that if he was to look at your personal life and the things that you're involved in, then that would be cause for him and everyone else to throw up. That's why he doesn't think that you should be allowed to appeal to your own Christian worldview, because you are immoral. And if you are appealing to your own Christian worldview, then by extension, your worldview is also immoral. And because of this, your quote-unquote religious beliefs are not an acceptable reason for disagreement or for not taking part in some sort of social initiative. I do wonder, however, how Sid and anyone else that shares Sid's views would hold up to their own standard. Now, some might say, Ryan, he's not the one judging others and claiming that he is better than everybody else like religious people do. Now let's hold on for a second. You saw how passionate he was in his response. You saw his emotion. You heard the tone of his voice. You heard the severity of his language. Obviously, he thinks that the social initiatives and values the NHL is promoting are good and should be embraced. He thinks that any views that oppose the NHL are bad and should be rejected. So if he holds the same views as the NHL, he is the good guy. If you oppose the views of the NHL, you are the bad guy. So Sid is saying that his views and actions are better than those of the religious person's views and actions. It's hard to argue that he isn't making some clear judgment about Christians. You see, it's perfectly okay for the non-Christian to judge Christians for their beliefs and their behaviors, but what's not okay is if the Christian does the very same thing. Now, Christians can be judgmental. Certainly, many Christians share this same I am better than you mentality. This is something that every single human being on this planet struggles with to one degree or another. That based on some set of beliefs that I hold or based on some religious actions or practices that I take part in, that I am somehow better than other people. It's definitely sad and frustrating when Christians do actually engage in this type of behavior, because here is the reality of what the Bible has to say about us, Christians and non-Christians alike. I can't speak for other religions, but I can share with someone like Sid what Christianity is all about. Romans chapter 3 tells us that all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Romans 3 also says that none is righteous, no, not one. No one understands, no one seeks for God. all have turned aside. Together they have become worthless. No one does good, not even one. The author of Romans, and arguably one of the greatest Christians to have ever lived, said this, "For I know that nothing good dwells in me, that is, in my flesh. For I have the desire to do what is right, but not the ability to carry it out. For I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not want is what I keep doing." Sid says that if you'd look at our personal lives, you'd throw up. And he's not entirely wrong. I think that if you look at a lot of Christians' personal, private lives, it would shock you. Christians are all at different stages of their spiritual maturity. Some struggle with things more than other Christians do. Some Christians struggle with different kinds of thoughts and behaviors than the next Christian would struggle with. To be quite honest, if every single action or thought I've ever had was laid out for the world to see, I would be appalled by it and I would be ashamed by it. Most of you probably wouldn't even be watching this video if you could look through my life and past sins in such a way that nothing would be hidden from you. By the grace of God, I am what I am today. And by the grace of God, I don't struggle with certain sins that I once struggled with before. But I'm still sinful, and I'm still growing, and I'm still learning. Part of what is foundational to our faith in Christ is the understanding and recognition of the true reality of our sinful hearts. All this to say, we know we're messed up. We know we're hypocritical. We know we don't live up to the standards set forth in the Bible. But does this mean that we therefore do not get to have an opinion in the public square? Again, I would ask somebody like Sid, how are you doing with that same standard? Do you think your private personal life is so squeaky clean that it would justify your ability to speak on social issues? If not, how much bad disqualifies you from speaking on social issues? Or how much good qualifies you to speak on social issues? If you can say that without a doubt someone is absolutely objectively wrong or even evil in regards to their beliefs or behaviors, there's a chance you might be moving towards actually proving the existence of God and legitimizing the truth of Christianity. Thanks for watching. Check out my video on judgmental Christians right here, and my video on hypocritical Christians right here, and click to subscribe right down here in the middle.